Hi folks, I am Nicolas from France. Here is a review about the new gyroscope from Mechforce. You can find the link to the Mechforce website in the description below. Mechforce is well known today in the world of spinners, thanks to the Delta Core and the Hurricane. The new EDC Gyroscope is not a spinner, but it can be compared with it. First of all, let's talk about the dimensions and the weight. The diameter is 52 mm, that means 2 inches. The thickness of the buttons is 17 mm, that means 0.67 inches. The thickness of the outer ring is 15.5 mm, that means 0.61 inches. So it is smaller than the Delta Core, for instance, but thicker. It has almost the same size as the circulator from 2R Designs. The gyroscope is made of stainless steel. Its weight is 154 grams, that means 5.4 ounces. So it is heavier than most spinners, but lighter than a stainless steel Delta Core. The bearing in the center core is a R188 hybrid ceramic. There are also 4 micro bearings installed in the intermediate ring, 2 for the link to the outer ring and 2 others for the link to the center core. You can replace the buttons by any set of R188 buttons made for easy removal systems, like for example all the buttons of the spinners from Spinetic spinners. Nevertheless, the buttons that are made for R188 press-fit spinners, like Zero Fuse or Stubbies ones, these buttons won't fit with the gyroscope. Let's talk now about how to fidget with this gyroscope. Of course, you can do a table spin, but you have to be a little bit more accurate when you launch the spin. Otherwise, it's gonna move more or less like a Euro disc and stop quickly. If you hold the gyroscope by the buttons with 2 fingers, it is possible to launch a classic spin with the outer ring. But since the rotation axis of this outer ring don't change, it is not possible to change the orientation of the button's axis too much. If you do so, the spin will stop quickly, because the outer ring will touch your fingers. If you hold the gyroscope by the outer ring, there are many other ways to launch a spin. You can, for instance, make the button spin around the R188 bearing's axis. You can also make the center core spins around the axis defined by the 2 inner micro bearings. You can also make the intermediate ring spins around the axis defined by the 2 outer micro bearings. And finally, you can also mix 2 of the previous spins. Sometimes it's gonna give some interesting and funny motions. It is more difficult to spin with only one hand, as we used to doing with classic spinners. But it's possible if you hold the gyroscope by the outer ring. It is important then to choose carefully the position of your fingers on the outer ring. Nevertheless, it is barely possible, according to me, if you try to spin with one hand while holding the buttons, because it's difficult to have enough control on the rotation axis of the outer ring. Concerning the spin time, it seems to be quite good too. I have reached more than 7 minutes easily. And I think that it shouldn't be difficult to do better than that. As a conclusion, I can say that this gyroscope is very fun to fidget with, but it is clearly more difficult to use than a classic spinner. Nevertheless, the possibilities seem to be higher when you will get used to it. The price is lower than $80, so it is more than reasonable. Thanks for having watched this video. Don't hesitate to like, dislike, or let me your comments. Goodbye.